Hello and welcome, you crazy people. My name is Jay. Welcome to Tabletop Oddity, and today it's not really a full-on proper video because the amount of news we've received isn't a massive amount of news, so there's not necessarily that much to go through. But basically, there is a magazine called Tabletop Gaming. I haven't bought it, so I am relying on the summarizing of somebody on the Facebook Star Wars Legion group. It's only cheap though. I might buy it, but you know, for now I've decided not to. I actually don't know why, but basically in this magazine there is I think an interview with one of the game designers or something like that, and he just talks about some of the philosophies and things like that. But he actually mentions a few different things. If you want to get it, this is the website. I can try and put it in the link in the description below. But yeah, there's a few different things that has been mentioned. So there's a guy on Facebook, as I said. I'm not going to reveal his name just for privacy reasons, but there's a few interesting things. One of the things he says is that, well, he actually says that it'll be about 30 minutes to fully assemble the figures from the core set. So that sort of implies that there's going to be sort of like a more snap fit kind of thing, which I personally will enjoy, but whether or not that's for everybody. He mentions that the relationship that FFG had with Games Workshop was actually holding up the release of this game. Well, they sort of said they wanted to do it, but the relationship meant they couldn't really do it, which I think is possibly one of the reasons that relationship ended. They wanted to make this game and it was a bit of a conflict of interest. So there's a sort of semi-soft confirmation that General Veers will be in the game, because he in it apparently they say you know, Darth Vader's very expensive, but he's slow, but he's very, very strong, which I think we've seen pretty much. And then he says that you can compare that to General Veers, who's going to be a lot cheaper, but so he'll allow you to get in more of the other stuff like the troopers or the, you know, the vehicles and that kind of thing. So General Veers soft confirmed, which I'm sort of happy about, because personally I'd never even heard of him, but he is in the movie, I think. But it's more like just a general, like a generic general, which I'm happy about, because I think, you know, you couldn't have Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, for example, in the same list. There's just be so many points invested in that, it wouldn't really be possible. Whereas this gives you a little bit of extra customizing, and they'll have more like generic abilities, so I think that's actually great. It does again mention that the 800 point amount, so it does pretty much sound like they're going for 800 points rather than 1,000 points. It says commanders can be targeted, but I'm not 100% sure what that means. I don't know if that's like leaders or troopers can be like sniped out of the unit or anything. Who knows? Each commander is apparently going to be coming with 3 specific command cards. Now, I think that's specific to that commander. Whether or not they come with any general cards that you could use, the pips these cards are, I don't know if it says, because I've not read the whole thing, but the summarization here doesn't necessarily say that. It says, unlike Room Wars, terrain and you know, 3D environments are very important. The height and the that kind of thing will matter, which bugs me in one hand in the fact that I really want to make terrain, but if elevation is going to become so important, I need to know if it's a specific height. Should we work around specific heights? Like, I don't want to make a building 1 centimeter too tall for general use. Do you know what I mean? So I'm happy about that, because I think it's better in the game. I just wish they would actually release the terrain rules. Now it does this was the one that I was like, wow, this actually blows my mind. I really didn't expect this. Apparently there's going to be 12 scenario cards in the core set. Now, I think we've only actually seen 4, and I was thinking 4's quite a lot of variety. There's quite a few different games, especially with all that kind of thing. Now, I'm hoping that's different, like flat out scenarios, rather than, you know, like I don't want to say different deployments or different weather conditions, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that's 12 flat out scenarios, but do take that with a pinch of salt. Obviously, we've not seen them, but it's just interesting that, you know, it could be flat out 12. So there's a lot of like small nuggets here. Now, I do know, I think Alex Davey, I'm not sure if that's even right. He apparently, well, not apparently, he did do an interview with the FFG website, and in that it said there'll be more information coming in a few weeks. It's been a few weeks, so I'm expecting soon articles on the FFG website, probably covering some of the stuff here in a little bit more depth, I would imagine. Fingers crossed for the terrain rules, as that's very close to my heart, but any of this information is quite useful. It's quite interesting getting an insight, seeing that, oh, the actual relationship they had with GW did impact the release date of this game, and they sort of had to wait it out before they could do it. The one that I think that really interests me is the fact that it's almost confirmed that not all the characters are going to be the big movie ones. We're going to get, I don't want to say sub-characters, but you know what I mean, not the big hitters. And that sort of makes sense, because I think for the Imperials, there's not that many in the original trilogy, unless you go to Emperor Palpatine, and that seems a bit heavy. So it wouldn't surprise me if the first release is something like General Veers and Leia. And he does actually mention Leia and Han in this, but I think we all knew they would end up coming. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's General Veers and Leia as the first commanders that get released. Maybe because the Rebels have got actually interesting characters. So yeah, we'll see where that ends up. Yeah, it's small nuggets of information. As I said, I will put a link in the description. Let me just get that back up on the screen. I'll put this link up if you want to buy it. It's only cheap. You can see the prices there. It's quite cheap, £6 basically. And yeah, it's interesting. I'm very happy that it feels like we're getting something which makes sense. We're possibly 3 months away from release. I do apologise if this video, I wasn't sure if it was worth making this video because there's not that much information in it, but if you're like me, you're very interested in it, it actually is quite interesting. So you can at least be like, okay, I'll go and research what actually is in this article. Or you can just be like, oh, I've heard it now, crack on. So I do forgive me if you're not particularly happy with this style, but yeah, I just wanted to get it out there because to me it's interesting. And hopefully you will find it interesting too. If you do subscribe as always, like and subscribe. It's all down there in it and that kind of stuff. And yeah, have a most beautiful day. We're doing a Star Wars podcast. I'll do a proper video of this soon, probably releasing it and telling you all. But me and Blackjack Legacy are doing a Star Wars Legion podcast. So that should be interesting. Maybe I should actually read the article. So I've got some information. But yeah, have a most beautiful day. Like, subscribe, and goodbye.